you guys picked a great day to do a night chat.
Oof.
We picked a great day. It's a great day to have you on, Donovan Mitchell, a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. What'd you think when that Woj bomb came out?
I thought, okay, we know Utah's out, and so who are the Kings playing in the play-in?
Oh, stop. I did that. It was one of the first thoughts, though, is like, finally, we can count them out. And I know some people are like, what? Why weren't you just counting them out in the first place? It's hard. They still had like Boyan and Donovan Mitchell and
Clarkson.
And you just didn't know. But now with that main piece gone, it's like, great, count them out.
Yeah, they're done. Stick a fork in them. And you know what? For me personally, it doesn't change anything. Not with the Sacramento Kings. The objective is the same and has been the same since I think it was the day after the last game of the season last year. That's it by any means necessary, man. Like this has to end. This has to end. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that this thing doesn't get to 17. And they've done a good job of that. Monty's done a good job of doing everything that he can do this offseason to try and put something together. The objective is still the same. In the mandate, there may not be no mandate in the building. There's a mandate on D'Lo and KC. Make the playoffs, or our heads are going to roll. People got to go if it don't happen this year. We don't have 3 years to figure this out.
I saw a crazy stat on Twitter after the trade. Utah has had 5 losing seasons in the last 40 years.
Cool.
Wow.
The Kings have had 8 winning seasons in 37 years. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
As far as the trade, though, I mean, I love it for Cleveland. I mean, and I know everyone's like, there's people, the draft picks that Ainge is getting, whatever. Here's what I know. Cleveland's going to be fun to watch this year.
Yep.
I'm kind of mixed on Donovan Mitchell, but I think with the pieces surrounding, they didn't have to give up Evan Mobley. They didn't have to give up Garland. They didn't have to give up Jared Allen. They've got their core together. And the one thing that Donovan, I think, will benefit from is not only being in a new spot, but he's got Allen and Mobley behind him. He's got some legit rim protection, and I do think the vibe should be better, right? Like there is clear the Utah thing wasn't about talent per se. It was about that a lot of those guys didn't like each other.
Yeah, and you guys know when you have a better vibe around any team, it's some people use the word culture, far too much. Culture. I think it really depends on what situation it is. Like, for example, the Sacramento Kings, they have never even established a culture in how many years. So it's like they need a better culture. The Jazz, they at least had like good basketball happening on the floor in that sense, but things just weren't vibing. So now he's going to be new scenery, new squad, and some good pieces on the squad. There's no reason why the Cavs shouldn't look really good this season.
It just dawned on me it's 106 and you got your Chris Webber crew neck on. That is commitment to your sweater gimmick right there. Your
D'Lo and Casey.
You are committed to that biggest heat wave on the planet. But Morgan, no.
It's a heat dome. Get the crew necks.
Yeah.
Like what?
Okay, I would rather be hot than cold, and there's air conditioning on right now, and I honestly don't like feeling cold at all. Plus, you guys, I don't know if you noticed, I've worn the same 5 crew necks for the past 4 months. I don't wear anything else. I don't try in the off season.
Personally, that's my favorite one of your crew necks. Personally, I don't know what it is, but there's just something about that crew neck that I love. Where. Like you like the move for Cleveland, you guys said, but like, how much do you like it? I like Cleveland a little bit more than Kenny did coming into this season. Now we've got him like probably in for us, we've got him in that 5th, 6th, maybe 7th range. I'm leaning more towards the 5th and the 6th and the 7th.
That sounds about right. I mean, unless Donovan goes to another level, what does Mobley look like in year 2? Mm-hmm. I love Evan and Mobley, and I think he has a chance to be pretty special. The biggest thing for them is like, it's not just about this year. For them, of course, they're going to be better, I think. You had an all-star caliber player who's in the prime of his career. Yeah. But like Donovan Mitchell's under contract for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome for them, right? And you've got a lot of young guys. it's just fantastic for them they're going to be they should be in the mix in the East for the next few years.
Wait, are people down on Donovan Mitchell or something? I feel like
I think so. I mean, I'm a little down on him after last year.
I
to be
know
honest.
you've been down on him and you question certain things, but I guess for you guys, are you guys down on Donovan Mitchell? Because sometimes I feel like I get it if everyone's not confident in him being like the guy that can get you over that hump, but he's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, I'm with it with Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a game changer. And I whether it was the Knicks or the Cavs or whatever, he's a guy that can elevate your team to another level.
Yes.
We talk about Cleveland. We thought as they were about to be about where they were last year, 7, 8, 9, somewhere like that, along with Atlanta getting better and things of that nature. But you add Donovan Mitchell into the mix. Now they're definitely in the playoffs. I could see him getting as high as 4. Right now, I'm trying to wrap my brain around the fact that I think they're better than Miami. And yeah, I could see them being 4. And if everything went right, pushing one of those top 3 teams.
I didn't like Donovan on the Knicks. That's the only thing. That's the
I'm
thing
with you.
I'm down on. I didn't like that. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't know who benefited from it. And other than Utah, that was the only thing I was down regarding Donovan Mitchell. It was the fit with the New York Knicks as a ball player, not at all.
Yeah, and I think from the Knicks' perspective, everyone's going to clown on him today. But it's like they didn't want to give up all the assets. And like if they didn't think he was going to be the change that they needed to take that jump in the East,
Right.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell and Brunson and Randall, is that really enough in the East to be
Right.
compelling? No, because they have weaknesses. I think if you have Donovan Mitchell on your team, you, number one, hope he is better defensively than he was last year. I think he can be. But you got to have some nice pieces around him, defenders. The Knicks don't totally have that. From Utah's perspective, I mean, look, if you're going to tear it down, tear it down. You took a guy that you drafted 13th overall in Donovan Mitchell and got 3 future picks, 2 pick swaps, and a rookie. You took Gobert, who's 30 years old, who you got 27th overall, who makes a ton of money, and you got all those assets back. Like, okay, this is the teardown. I mean, if you're a Utah fan, I don't know how you're excited today. It's not going to be fun next year. You're going to have a really bad team, and they'll probably trade Boyan and Clarkson now, probably Conley. But look, if you're going to move guys, that's what you do. Get the assets.
And that's the other thing, you guys. Now we have to watch. We're on Boyan and Conley watch for the Lakers, right? And if for some reason there is something there with the Lakers that makes the Lakers better. I know everyone thinks they're just like a laughing joke, but they still have Anthony Davis. They still have LeBron James. Like they're still going to be a decent team. And then if you look at pieces like that, they're going to get better. Who knows what Darvin Ham can get out of them too.
Why do we have to look at the Lakers as a decent? They stunk last year. They were awful. They
New
had
coach
last year. LeBron James scored 30 points per game last year. They were awful.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not telling the whole story, though, if we're being fair. Anthony
be
Davis,
fair then.
if Anthony Davis plays 70 games, they make the playoffs.
Oh, come on now. Wait a minute. What are we doing? We've talked
70?
about this before.
Can he play 40? Can he play 40?
I'm just saying. I'm saying that's
I get it.
That's more of the reason why they didn't make it, as opposed to the roster just all
But I thought we came to an agreement. You turned on me in front of Deuce and Mo, and now it's 3-1. I thought that's not happening. 70 games is not happening.
I find it hard to believe he's going to play 50 games next year.
I mean, you do?
I know, Kenny, and I get what you're saying.
I find it hard to believe. Like that, to be honest with you, and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this like because I want it to happen by no means, but that'd be a gift from the gods. Because if he plays 50 games again, the Lakers aren't making the playoffs.
So he last played 50 plus games the 2019-20 season, 62.
Well, there you go.
I mean, that's not bad because that's a 72 game.
Okay,
season,
fair.
right?
Okay, so the 2021 season he played 36, and then last year he played 40.
You
I mean,
guys,
it's just not true. I mean, I think we all agree. I think we all agree. If Anthony Davis is healthy, it's a game changer for them, no doubt.
and not only that though, I am still. Again, I understand like 30 points. LeBron James averaged last season, and they still look like crap, right? I get that. This really is going to be a new squad. Whatever happens with Russ, I don't know. But you think about Darvin Ham. You think about I know, and no one's gonna be like whatever, but like a healthy Kendrick Nunn, you got Juan Toscano Anderson, you got Lonnie Walker, you have some pieces, and I'm not acting like these are championship pieces, but these are pieces that can screw with the Sacramento Kings, that can screw with other teams in the West, possibly, especially if they did add some shooting in Boyan, right?
This is when I go towards Damian's side because they're not good enough around those guys. Like their hope is Anthony Davis is healthy. Around those two, they're not good enough.
Are they not good enough for a play-in though with the teams that we know that are out of it? That's the thing, right? I'm not trying to sit here and act as if like it's hey, they're going to be a contender. I don't think they're going to be a contender in the West at this point, especially not knowing AD. I don't love the roster, like, but they should compete for a play-in. Like they're going to be in Sacramento's way.
They're going to.
If they get the same production out of AD again, they're at best battling 9 and 10.
But that's where the Kings are probably at.
Yeah, but that's another spot that we said was open. Because right now, I think a lot of people, and I'm not alone in this, are when they talk about San Antonio and Utah fell out, they're like, yeah, but the Lakers are getting in there, so now you really have one spot available. I've heard that a lot of times. So I think they're assuming AD's healthy. They're giving them at least some type of 7-8 spot in somewhere in that top 10. If AD is unhealthy again, I don't know. They could not make it again.
I mean, are you guys like sleeping on the Portland Trailblazers? I feel like a lot of people have that perception of like, what's Dame and Jeremy Grant going to do? And it's hard for me to count out Dame Lillard until he shows me that I should be counting him out in his career, right? And I think people are down on him in his injury year and everything that was going down, but we know what he's capable of, and it seems like they're going to have a tweaked team, if that's a fair thing to say.
They don't move me.
Oh, you're sleeping. Good night.
I mean, again, I'm not as high on them. Like I like I like the addition of Jeremy Grant, but they're in the Kings mix. Right, but again, it's to me, it's a team.
Guys.
I think they're a play-in team. They're in that.
They
are
fight
for a play-in team.
They are
the only teams that you count out: Oklahoma City, Houston, San Antonio, and Utah.
Yep.
That's
mean, New Orleans is probably going to be better. Now, there's an if there with Zion, but if healthy and he looks good, they're going to be pretty fun to watch. Right? The Clippers, on paper, it looks like a pretty nice team. Now it's a little older. But you get Kawhi back, Paul George, you got Norm Powell. They made some nice moves. I mean, John Wall.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they're a well-coached team. They're going to compete. So, yeah, it's not I don't even care that it's hard. Like this is competition. I want the Kings to battle. I don't want them to just like walk into a play-in spotlight. Earn it for sure.
Yeah.
I'd be fine if they walked in that way.
I guess.
And then when Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double this year, we'll forget about it.
Is he doing that in Utah?
Oh.
Well, but look, Damian, I'm gonna say this, and you brought it up a number of different times. It ain't like you talk about triple doubles and it ain't like Russ had a terrible statistic year. Like I don't
care.
Huh?
Jeannie Buss said he was our best player.
Well, he needs to settle down. But
he was our best player.
She did clarify that. I meant, because he played the most games. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Jeannie.
Not averaged 30 points per game last year.
Even with my bad. Go ahead.
You're listening to D-Lo and KC along with Deuce and Mo. We are a well-oiled machine here on KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ, HD2, the real 98 Rock Sacramento, ESPN 1320. Driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, always live on the free Odyssey app. Go ahead, partner.
No, I was just going to say to that point you were talking about Westbrook. Westbrook could have another good year. And once again, if Anthony Davis ain't there, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Because their roster's not good enough. They're not good enough.
I agree.
In a totality as a roster.
What, Damian? What?
No. Go ahead.
I find it interesting that because I understand what you guys are saying about the Lakers roster. I get that. But at the same time, it's like when you do have LeBron James on your squad, there were tweaks made, and everyone is talking about Darvin Ham and his coaching and what he could be capable of, how does that, like, the way that we talk about the Sacramento Kings is that same way. It's like tweaks are made, except there is no LeBron James and a new coach, and we talk about what he can add in Mike Brown, what he can add having this new coach and coaching, and we talk so highly of them. How are we not doing the same with the late? And I get it.
They don't have depth. They don't have depth.
get that
AD
it's
plays
not-
40 games. I mean, they're going to count on Damian Jones. I mean, we like Damian Jones, but I mean,
They didn't have
I-
enough, and they lost like probably one of the top 3 best players in Malik Monk. Malik Monk was the top 3 best player for them last year. They lost him, and Lonnie Walker, who I think is a good ball player. I don't think that's good enough. And they didn't add anything else. Pat Bev ain't gonna get it done.
I mean, but
and LeBron, I mean, the other thing too is we got to mention LeBron played 56 games last year. The year before that, he played 45. So, it's like, hey, if these guys are healthy, I just don't know that you can count on those things at this point. But I still think, yeah, if they're healthy, it's going to be interesting.
yeah, I don't know. I just think we need to make sure that we're not getting excited about and throwing all of our biases into something that we see that we are close to, when the same kind of crap could be happening, down south in California.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. The Kings don't have LeBron or AD, but the Lakers don't have depth. Like, they have no, what you scared of their depth?
I mean, no.
Max Christie? You're scared of Max Christie?
No.
I mean, I'm not,
I love that I said that so confidently.
Scottie
No.
Pippen Jr. is on the team. I mean, you're not fearful of that.
That's fine.
Both those guys are going to be awesome. I would look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Those guys are going for 30 apiece when
Yeah.
they play Sacramento. Yeah, gosh, I didn't realize LeBron's game total was so low last year. I know that's what kept him out of actually winning the scoring title, but yeah, it's
What was it again?
56.
No. Like, what was the injury again? It was last year. Wasn't the ankle? Was it? No, that was during the second pandemic year. What happened to him last year?
before.
I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Went to the national championship, maybe. I don't know.
Deuce is looking up the injury history.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Okay.
can't find it.
Just tapped out. That's what he did. It's like, oh no.
A lot of it in 2022 was listed as a knee. He had the ab injury, the abdominal injury that kept him out too. That was in
Start of the
late
season.
November into January. Yeah.
Have we talked about Minnesota? What do you guys think of the Timberwolves this year?
I feel like I have to recuse myself from this conversation because I can't stand Minnesota. Period. Minnesota. I'm just not a Cat guy, and I know Cat's so good. Cat's so good. Oh
my God.
Cat is one of the biggest frauds in the NBA. He's a talented guy, but you know whose team that is? It's not Gobert. It's not Cat. That is
Ants.
Anthony Edwards' team. And that's probably the one reason where I'm like, yeah, I dig them because I believe in his star potential. He's the leader of that team, and he's like in his second year.
Straight clean.
Third year.
That's fair. I mean, yeah.
I agree with that. That was harsh, but I don't agree with that.
Cat gets numbers. It's great.
Cat gets under
numbers.
his skin too. Obviously, he calls Cat. It's DeMarcus Cousins with a smile is how he puts it. Like, he can get those numbers, but he can also get away with a lot of things because he's still smiling. He has a different type of body language about him that when he carries himself.
My point is, DeMarcus got dumped on a lot for his body language, right? Like, oh, not getting back on defense, blah blah blah. It's like Cat does the same. He does the same stuff.
but he smiles.
Well, and here's the deal: when I look at Cat play, and I only mean this in a basketball sense, because we know in real life, prayers up to my man, but he's a little too emotional for me on the basketball court. Like, he's too reactionary to bad calls, to not getting calls. It's too much. Like, and I feel like it affects his game sometimes.
It takes him out of possessions. If it takes you out of possessions, then yes, it affects your game. It affects your team. And this is a team sport, and it definitely does that with Cat. And if he can better that part of his game, which is very, very difficult, but if he can, then yeah, he could make his team better. He could be a better player, all these different things. So with Minnesota, I feel like I'm going into this season more with the question mark over them. Like, what are they going to look like? What is it going to look like with these two bigs in there? Obviously, Cat can stretch the floor on the offensive end, but defensively? Is it just our teams just shooting because they can't come into the paint? Is that going to be the strategy other teams go with when they're going against this team? I don't know. So I feel like with them, it's more of a question mark, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be sustainable.
I just think you're paying Gobert and Cat a lot of money. Edwards, I didn't love the Gobert and Cat pairing, but it could work out. I don't know. And again, I know Cat's talented. Every time I talk about Cat, it's like, Deuce, he's really, really good. I'm like, I know he could shoot the three. He does a lot of good things, but I guess I see a lot of what you guys see when you talk about the emotional side and taking him out of games. And it's just a little over the top for me.
I have absolutely zero desire to share my take on Minnesota after all of that.
Wait, I want to know.
He
Are you
thinks they
super
going.
excited?
Damian thinks they going.
Going where?
I think that's the top 3 team in the West next year.
I mean, it's possible. It's
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to clown on that.
I think they're what Memphis was this year. I think Memphis falls back and Minnesota's the team that jumps up.
I agree with Memphis dropping. I do. I just think the Jaren Jackson out again. It's an interesting time for them. Losing DeAnthony Melton, I think, hurts. I don't know.
Yeah,
and I do like Ja. I do like Ja. It is interesting how good they were without him too. Like, how much does that come into play? I don't know.
I feel like Memphis. Okay, I'll take this beating.
Oh, let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Right now, to me, Memphis is what Cleveland was if Cleveland had just stayed healthy all year. Like, I don't buy Memphis yet. I don't think Memphis, we were wondering if Cleveland, prior to the Donovan Mitchell trade, was going to be back to a playing spot. Could they win a playing game? 45 wins, 44 wins. I don't think Memphis is winning 56 games next year.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
If I've got Minnesota moving up, Golden State, if Phoenix is a huge question mark, I think too. I've got LA up there. Maybe they're 4th, but they might be in the 5-6 range.
And maybe they overachieved a little bit last year. That's possible.
I mean,
that's not crazy to say, I don't think.
you look at what they were doing in the postseason too, in the way that they had to adjust their entire game plan with Steven Adams, right? And just what is that going to look like this year? Obviously, teams,
And then Ja missing time.
sure, it's going to look different. So you're probably right. It is going to adjust where they are in the standings, but I still think they'll be a solid team. And I think it's a fair analysis of what you said about Minnesota and where they could be. There's something exciting about it because, like we said, because of Anthony Edwards and a year more of experience under his belt. What is he going to be doing?
Well,
I do want to be clear too, Casey. I don't expect Minnesota to succeed in the playoffs.
yeah. I mean, so you say they went from Minnesota's going to be this year's Memphis. Memphis was playing. They were technically an AC, but I think they had like the 9th seed that previous year and got into the playoffs, beating the Warriors. Then they shot up from basically 9 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was, I shouldn't say a lot of it, because I don't want to disparage the way they play. They were a good team last year, but it was a little circumstantial. The Clippers, who probably would have been up there, were in a different space this past year. The Warriors, for much of that year, were in a different space. The Nuggets had the MVP, but didn't have Jamal Murray. So they got to 2 because the West was a little decimated. This year, the West isn't decimated. Clippers are back. Nuggets may be back. The Warriors are going to be there full time. Phoenix is going to be there full time as well. So for now. So I look at Minnesota. I just don't see a jump like that because the circumstances aren't the same in the West. So I could see them going from 7 to 5 maybe, and that's still good. That's still dope. And also Memphis coming back. They're not going to be the 2 seed again because everybody's back now. Everybody's back and healthy. Part of them getting 2 last year was, like I mentioned, all those teams were dealing with stuff. And as long as they don't deal with injuries again, I think they're better than Memphis.
Well, someone has to finish 1, 2, and 3. I mean,
Phoenix, Golden State, and Clippers.
I don't think I disagree with that, but Phoenix is confusing to me.
Yeah, that's the one team. It's probably the biggest question mark for me, just about who they are. I'm sorry. I have the lasting image of what went down in that game against the Mavs.
Yeah.
That I mean, that can't just be brushed aside. That wasn't just, oh, that was a bad loss in December. That was a game 7 on your home floor. You were in the championship the year before that. Chris Paul's older. They're gonna have to manage his minutes too. Like, we know that. He's been nicked up the last couple of years, even he's been so impactful. And then like the Ayton stuff. I don't know. Is it good? Is everything cool now? Is he fine? Is he content? Is everything's been squashed? He wanted to go to the Pacers. It wasn't just signing the offer sheet. He wanted to go to Indiana. Obviously, they elect to match it, but I don't know. It's interesting. And then you add in the other stuff, right? Like, they were in the KD rumors too. Did that mess up any of the vibes? I think they're a big question mark to me. They could be fine and be near the top, but I could see them drop too.
Yeah, every time we talk about these question marks too, it does get me excited because I do, and I think my biases are there sometimes.
What are you saying, Morgan?
Whoa! I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just saying, because even in my head, I'm thinking about Luka and the Mavs and where they're at, and I feel like if the Sacramento Kings and everything that we keep talking about them, especially when we compare their depth to teams like the Lakers, like we were even saying, if they can create this culture and establish this culture, this great basketball culture this season, team culture this season, I think there's some things that they can do in this Western Conference. Yes, like talking about some of these. Now, again, that doesn't even mean, for me, that's playoffs. That's literally play in for me. That's my best case scenario for this season. And will they win that play-in game and get into the playoffs? We'll have to see. I'm going to judge this team after 20 games is when I told myself I'll have a better way of defining what this team really is this season. I know I have some
I just
things.
don't, we always say that. I don't know who was the first person to say, 12, you need 20, 25,
Do people
30
say
games.
20 games?
Yeah, they do. And it's
I say
interesting
20
because I'm
games.
like, okay, if you would have saw Boston after 20 games last year, like, they
Right.
suck.
Well, and I
I
always use them as an example
the
too.
Pelicans were like,
No, you're absolutely right.
after 30
There's-
games, the Pelicans were like 9 and something.
Absolutely. It's not like it goes for every single case, right? For every single team. It doesn't mean that is the case for every single team. But at the same time, for a team like the Sacramento Kings, I think it would be easier to state what they kind of are after 20 games. There's so much unknown with this King squad, but yes, we are all excited about the depth. We are excited about what can be created with this team basketball, not only because of the roster, but also because of the coaching staff, right? You're seeing these guys go out to concerts together. That team atmosphere is there. Everything feels good. But I'm trying not to get caught up in everything feels good right now, but I'm also trying to believe in Mike Brown and the culture that he came from, and that's what he's bringing.
Need a Tristan Thompson hype video.
Oh boy,
That's what we need, man.
Tristan mixtape. That's where it started.
TT.
Look at that boy, Tristan. He over there on Bagley's head. The next time we talk, training camp will have started. Like, that happened at the end of this month. Outside of the obvious is De'Aaron Fox. Is there a player that you think on this Kings team has a lot to prove?
Outside De'Aaron.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird because it's not Sabonis, but it's in NBA circles. I feel like outside Sacramento, Sabonis doesn't get the love he deserves.
He's never mentioned in the Tyrese Halliburton conversation.
No, they gave away Tyrese, right? They got nothing back.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Sabonis has something. The guy's made 2 All-Stars, but like, if he can have an impactful year, show that he's been working on that jumper and that it translates to the season, and then all of a sudden the Kings are legit, I think that shows the rest of the league. Yeah, this guy is underrated. This guy's in the prime of his career. He's skilled. He does a lot of great things. Is he perfect? No, but he's pretty damn good.
And I think being in Sacramento, you talk about a lot to prove. Yeah, it's going to go for the 1-2 punch, right? De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis. It's going to be those 2 guys that have the most to prove, because those are the 2 guys that not only this team needs to rely on for a lot of things, but the league looking around, everyone's going, those are the two guys that can get them to the next level. That can be the guys
It's gonna be
for
a fun
this
year.
team. Yeah.
No, it's gonna be a fun year, Morgan. I'm
got-
telling you.
It's going to be
I
fun.
agree. I agree. Now, let me ask you guys, we talked about this a little earlier too, because, I'm out, trades happen. People getting, I'm a scavenger. I'm a vulture out here. Oh, you having a fire sale? Let me see what them scraps looking like. All right. Then I'm looking at the Jazz and I'm looking around, Bojan,
Yeah.
Clarkson. I like Clarkson, obviously. Conley, Ruby Gay, guys like that. Malik Beasley, they just got him. And I was looking around. I was like, I don't know if they don't really have anything the Kings need right now that they don't already have. Then I looked around. I said, outside of obviously an all-star, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, somebody like that, I think the Kings roster is about good right now. It's about good. And we'll reevaluate come trade deadline. But I think they're done. Then they should focus on getting this group together. What you guys think they're done? How do you feel?
Yes, and I know like everyone tries to trade Harrison Barnes every other day. Like how many trade ideas I hear about Harrison Barnes. I'm like, if you trade Harrison Barnes, are you getting better? I don't think so. I don't think there's a trade right now that you trade Harrison Barnes that you will get better.
Because the trades that we see, people go, why wouldn't you just trade Harrison Barnes for Klay Thompson?
Yeah,
I just don't get it because that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but yes, exactly.
So I'm cool with start the year with this roster. I like it. I think it's a solid roster. Is it perfect? No, but look, when you've got Fox and Sabonis, give me some shooting. Check. I think they've got a rookie that's going to be able to contribute right away. That's great. I think Rashawn Holmes has a chance to have a nice bounce back year. He's going to find his role. All the stuff that he was dealing with, that's out the window. He's been around. Like I just think the vibes are really good. I'm excited to see what Davion can bring. I'm cool with starting this year with this roster.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think a roster like this, it really just depends on how you play team basketball, right? Because there isn't that Jason Tatum. There isn't that the go-to guy, even though I know people want that to be De'Aaron Fox, but we haven't seen that from De'Aaron Fox. So we can't just...
We've seen flashes.
I would say we've seen it if it was consistent. Sure. Flashes to me are not, that doesn't make you the guy because you have some flashes. Yeah. But I get what you're saying, but no, consistency can make you the guy. So we haven't seen it yet. And I'm one of the people that I'm on board with De'Aaron. I think he can be that guy. He let me down last year when I was pushing for it and I thought he could be, but that's okay. Let's see what he's going to do this year. Everyone's saying he has a different mentality. So yeah, you look at this.
Dude was working out in Italy on his honeymoon.
Dude,
and then he came back.
This is what you do. This is what you do. You get excited about those things. I'm so glad you asked me this on a night chat. Deuce said, doesn't it excite you that he's like working out in Italy? And I was like, when I heard it at first, I got excited. And then when I saw videos, I'm like, I don't care. I just need to see the season start.
I'm not saying that guarantees that he's going to be an all-star. All I'm saying is that's cool to see that the guy's like, hey, I don't care. I may be on my honeymoon, but I'm going to work out and I'm going to keep working on my game. That's cool.
This guy, give him some of those hype videos.
Kenny, I know you saw that and you're like, I get down with that.
I was indifferent because look, this may be boring and this isn't good for content or anything like that. All that matters is the W's. That's all that matters.
Well, yes, I know, but we don't have W's right now. There's no games right now.
You guys are horrible people. Let the man have a freaking honeymoon without worrying about a jump shot. Let the man have a honeymoon.
I disagree.
Time out. I'm not even saying that he should be doing it. He wants to do that. And by the way, let's not lose sight of that his wife is a baller, so she's down to play some basketball too. So that's cool. Like,
the man.
No, I'm not saying I'm not here to be like, hey, you know what? My concern is he didn't work out during his honeymoon. I just think he just seems like he's really engaged.
No,
right now.
and I love it. I'm just not going to get excited about it. I will get excited about it if it translates on the floor.
Morgan, we're going to look back at this moment. We're going to look back at, man, it all changed when Sabonis and Fox had that big hug because his vibe has completely changed since that moment.
It's true, but if we're talking about moments that changed everything, we already know the moment that changed everything. You guys know what it is?
What? What is it?
It was that announcement on lottery day that Anjali Ranadive is the assistant general manager in Stockton. ever since that moment, it's been nothing but good vibes here in Sacramento. That was the game changer.
If that's the
Hashtag thanks,
case.
Nani.
Thank you,
Changed
Ashtani.
everything.
If that's the case.
I'm gonna tell y'all this: when I take my vacation next year to whatever island I'm going to, I'm not working on my rejoiners. I'm not. I got
rejoiners.
work on coming back from commercial while I'm on vacation.
Well,
Well, that's fine. You know
Okay.
what? If some big trade happens, I'm on vacation. I'm going live because I want to. I love it. Let's
You
go.
have bullied this man into working out in his on his honeymoon. You guys,
Wait.
He chose to.
And not only that though, Damien, I did say this too. I agreed that he should be working out on his honeymoon. And the only reason, and I'm not saying like he should or I would have been pissed. I'm just saying he should because of how close it was going into the season. And you know how it needs to happen for pro basketball players. It's got to be on the daily, especially if you have something to prove.
Okay, let's he could take a week off. Let's settle down.
No, not this close to the season. You just
What are we
can't.
talking about
You,
now?
dude, you lose things within a week. Like you can. No, I'm so glad that he was working out on his honeymoon, but no, it does not excite
full
me.
disclosure, I had a honeymoon once, and she left to go work out with USA Basketball.
There,
Yes.
yes. Okay, thank
She's
you.
great. That's why she's great.
So yeah, doesn't that?
That's why I feel the way I do about Karen. Hey, have your honeymoon, bro. Like, come on, man. Just enjoy your honeymoon.
Oh,
Are you guys? I mean, Night Chat's coming back tonight. We're less than a month away from training camp. I know what the Deuce and Mo podcast is all about, but like, are we excited for football at all?
No. Oh, I mean, you for the podcast? You're saying?
No, for you.
It's funny. I'm just, man. My life. It's weird how life changes because I used to be so into football. I'm watching all the time, but I think because of our schedule during the season with NBA and G League, the G League schedule just came out today, and I'm looking over the schedule. I'm going, all right. Sundays are like. It's rare that you have a Sunday off.
Yeah,
And so you're not watching games.
the amount of prep that just even goes into these G League guys, and Deuce does a fantastic job of like researching and breaking down most of these G League guys, and I get to cheat and off of his homework and get to take a lot of his research and then go study them. It's fantastic. And it's like, but it takes so much time. All of the prep takes so much time that it's like I can't even soak in another sport at that time.
I'll say this: I'm a casual at this point. I'm a casual. I'm intrigued by like I'm very interested in the Niners this year. I'm intrigued to see how the dynamic is. What's it? You know, Shanahan's coming out and saying like, "Hey, this is the best roster I've had." Okay, and now Trey Lance is your guy. What's that going to look like? If you think this is the best roster, you got to win.
Let me try it real quick. I just want to try it. Mo, what you think about them re-signing Jimmy G?
I didn't care. I understood it, right? It's just for make good with everyone. Good job, Jimmy G. Does it bother you or something? Because I'm not even a Jimmy G fan, but I'm like, I would rather have him be there than be in Seattle, right?
See, Mo, she keeps it a stack.
But I'm a cash.
Mo
I'm a
and
cash.
the same energy. She thinks Jimmy G stinks, and she thinks he stinks now. My whole thing was people were saying the same stuff 10 months ago. Jimmy stinks. They went in spite of Jimmy. Now he comes back. Oh, well, maybe he might be better than Trey. You might have to start him up. Fam, you just told me he stinks. Why, how are you switching up now?
Well, I think some people are a little concerned about Trey, what they've seen, I guess. I don't
Don't
know.
worry about Trey. Trey gonna be perfectly fine.
What if we're like at week 7 and it's not going well?
Yeah, what will you do?
And you just see Jimmy throwing the ball on the sideline, smiling a little bit.
That is understandable. Week 7. We got people talking about week 1.
Oh, stop it.
Real people.
I mean, the reality is like
talk about week 1.
they gave up so much to get Trey Lance. Like, he has to be their guy. And the question is he ready to be the guy with this team now?
Hey, you got to roll with Trey till the wheels fall off. That's the way I feel. Because like you said, there's so much. You roll with him till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest about it. If it doesn't work, Shanahan and Lynch are out.
And so you actually believe in Trey Lance too, right?
I think he's gonna be fine. I'm not saying a supernova or nothing. He's gonna be fine.
Okay.
He can do what Jimmy did.
Well, I mean, a lot of people can do what Jimmy did. Just manage the football and throw it 3 feet. There you go.
I kind of like heel Morgan Reagan. Heel Morgan Reagan is good. Night chat tonight,
7 o'clock tonight, night chat.
It's lit.
Good stuff, man. Night chat is back tonight, man. Gearing up for what will be a fun season. I'm excited, man. The next time we talk, training camp will be here. We'll have actual substance to talk about when it comes to the Sacramento Kings, the Stockton Kings in the NBA. Deuce and Mo, make sure you check them out on YouTube, on Twitch, and of course on whatever your favorite podcast channel is. There's